Social and National cheered and asked, what kind of mobile games do I play? I only play 2 mobile games anymore. They are Marvel Future Fight and WWE Champions. Marvel Future Fight is a really good game in my opinion. Tons of content, ridiculous amount of characters. It's a gameplay style very similar to Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2, which for those of you who are gamers from the past 10 years, you'll recognize that name because there's some pretty good games back on the Xbox 360 and PS3. But outside of that, WWE Champions is a game that plays a lot like Candy Crush, of all games. Or what's the other one? Bejeweled. It plays like those 2 games with wrestlers. And honestly, the game cheats and is not very good. But I just play it because it has wrestlers in it. There you go.
Welcome to part 2 of DSP's Gacha game addiction. We've talked about which games Phil is addicted to. Now we're going to go and look into his favorite one, WWE Champions. Something perfectly honed in to just what DSP likes. So in order to figure out exactly why DSP enjoys this game, I downloaded it. I have my own account on it for research purposes only. It forces you to go through a couple of tutorial levels so you understand the game mechanics. It's a match 3 style game of gems. Match enough of the same color of gems get to execute a move. The object is to pin your opponent using these moves in order to push a pin meter from the left side of the screen to the right. And then your opponent can go ahead and try to counter it by matching gems to get out of that pin and continuing the match. Now, they showed you how you could power up an individual wrestler that you have recruited and train them to go ahead and be able to drop more of a certain color of gems to execute more moves. Therefore, you can continue using the same wrestler and various modes later on in the game. Now, I got through these tutorial levels, and I wanted to see what else could I do? What else could I look at? So I went, first off, to the store. See what you can go ahead and buy. Now, I was immediately met with offers on buying booster packs. Some of them were $5 a pop. Other ones were up to $15. Now I continue looking down. There's a ton of in-game currency that you can go ahead and get. Some are only during events. Others are during certain membership times. Yeah, that's right. There's a membership tab we'll go over. But there's other in-game currency that you can buy using real currency. Like here's the screenshot of it. Look at those absurd prices. And this is for just video game monies. You're using your real monies to buy video game monies so you can purchase stat points for wrestlers that you were just staring at in a JPEG form with PlayStation 1 graphics almost. But somebody like that is out there. People enjoy this kind of stuff. And I get it. Everybody has their own vice. Everybody likes their own thing. But the problem with these games is that they tend to disappear over the course of several years. People just get burnt out and move on. Now, this game also has memberships. Now, what I mean about memberships is that you have to pay a certain amount of money to get into events or to go ahead and receive certain awards at the end of your matches. And it's insane. It's more currency, it's more points, it's different wrestlers. So, it's an incentive, right? But these things go all the way up to $25 a month for this stuff. And people do it all the time because that's how they advance in this game. So imagine that. You're sitting there, you're top level VIP, right? You've paid $25 a month since the start of this game a few years ago. That's insane to start with, right? But then you have to purchase event packages. Like, look at the one currently going on here. Yeah, that's right. You see that? That's $140 for a package of bullshit. And people are out there, not Phil, who go ahead and redeem this stuff. Now, how do you gain an edge in this style of game? Well, you can cheat. There's plenty of ways out there that I've seen. I mean, I don't give a fuck about this game, so I'm not even going to really play it past this point. But Phil has to pay money to win at this game at this point. Everybody knows it. That's all the reviews are all about. People are up in arms about it every day on Reddit. They get censored over there on Twitter on the account. And then there are whales, open wallets, like not DSP, who was found out by a user who just stumbled across, they call me DSP, sitting there in the leaderboards as part of a faction during one of these events. The game has been out for 52 months and a week now. So 52 months at $25 a month minimum, you're looking at $1,300 over the game's lifespan. But you know that. DSP is not spending that kind of money. No, he's spending much more. There are other memberships out there that are costing him $99 a month. Can you imagine that? And look at this VIP list. This is to get to an advanced level in VIP. So you have to pay money to get to these levels at some point. And well, good old Phil here, if you look over at his account, or not Phil's account, you'll see how much he's actually spent on this game. And that's about $20,000 right then and there, just to get to that level. So his spending habits in this game are terrible. And this is from somebody who went on record saying that he hates this game. I mean, listen to this rant one more time.
All right. Dark Nightmare asks me, what can I give a brief review of each mobile game that I play, and in what order do I like each one? I currently jump between 4 mobile games when I play mobile games, okay? I play Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. I play Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. I play a Marvel video game called Marvel Future Fight. And I play a game called WWE Champions, which, of all things, if you can believe it, is a WWE game that plays like Candy Crush. It's basically just moving gems around and breaking colored gems, all right? And then, by far, the worst game that I play is WWE Champions. This game is basically just a time waster for me, because I watch WWE, so a lot of the times when I'm watching wrestling, I'll open up the game and play it. It sucks. The game is actually one of the most unfair games I've ever played. Here's why. So when you play a game like Candy Crush or all those, you have a screen full of tokens, and you have to move them around to match up. It breaks a row or whatever, and then the tokens fall. This game actually actively cheats all the time. And what I mean by that, you'll be fighting an opponent. Okay, well, your character, for example, will use different colored gems to earn combos. So maybe your character uses green and black gems. Well, guess what? You'll play a match, no green and black gems whatsoever on the fucking screen at all. Oh, but the computer opponent you're facing uses red and yellow, and the whole fucking screen is red and yellow. So they get all these combos and shit, and you get nothing because the game fucked you. In addition to that, alright, it actively cheats with what gems are above that you can't see that fall when you break stuff, because a lot of the time, you'll break a row, and just, gems will fall, whatever. Then the computer will break a row. Oh, look, conveniently, all these gems up top are the colors they need to get a multi-combo. And I'm not kidding. You'll be like full health bar against an enemy that has no health. All of a sudden, the enemy will break one row, and then all of a sudden, combo, and they keep falling into place perfectly to get like a 10-hit combo, and you instantly die. And this happens all the time. It's not like, oh, it happens on a rare occasion. This happens all the fucking time when you play the game. The game is horrendously broken. And it's hilarious because people are playing this game and like it. And I'm like, dude, this game is terrible. This game is actually one of the worst mobile games I've ever played because it actively cheats and generates the gems only for your opponents and not for you to get these combos to just fall into place. WWE Champions is just a time waster. If there's nothing going on in the other games, or a lot of the times what happens is these games for some reason have maintenance, and they end up being at the same time or whatever, then I'll go play WWE Champions, but that's like the afterthought. I barely, that's the game I like the least out of anything that I play mobile. Alright.
Now, does that sound like somebody who's barely touched the game, or is that somebody who's been wildly invested into it and is very frustrated daily by the gameplay of the game? Yet he never touched on the price point. And the price point is pretty high, as you saw. So next time, we're going to look into what it takes to be a faction in these games, how factions operate, what happens when a special individual, who's not a streamer on Twitch at all, right, with a troll following, joins factions and then gets found out about. So stay tuned and come back next week for the third part of this series. It's been a blast to make for you guys. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Otherwise, stay safe, guys. Have a good one.